The main characters were not very interesting. The writing was atrocious. I decided I'm going to start filming a weekly vlog, or at least just this week. I wanted to do some another reading vlog and just go through some of the books I'm reading. Halloween's coming up and I've been trying to get into the mood of reading more scary books, and I have been struggling. But I am reading Echo, and I am getting, it's taken me a really long time to get into this book. I'm on page 186. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a slow burn. It builds up. So it's about this mountaineer called Nick, and he has a boyfriend called Sam. Nick goes up a mountain that is in the Swiss Alps. That really is a mountain that he should not have gone up with. He goes up with a friend of his, Augustin, and he is the only one that comes down. He's heavily mutilated, his face is all disfigured and everything, and something goes down up in that mountain. I think what's interesting about this, and it took me a long time to really kind of enjoy how it was written, is each chapter is set up differently. First of all, each chapter doesn't even have a chapter name, but it has another horror book, and then it has a little snippet from that book, and then what this chapter will be. So this is Nick's manuscript, part 1. So he's written a manuscript basically of what happened up in the mountain. So some chapters are of his manuscript, some chapters are from Sam, so notes from Sam, and it's more Sam's perspective. There was one chapter here where it's like a diary entry, so you've got the different dates, and this is from Nick's perspective. As you get into the book, you slowly really uncover more and more about what's going on, and the mountain and the history. One chapter from the Jekyll and Hyde, because he's either Nick or sometimes he's somebody else. He is really sinister and weird, and I don't know, it's taken me a long time to get into this book, but I'm into it now, and I'm getting more invested in the story and what's going on. I might pull some of those books actually to read this week as opposed to read some of these, because I don't know how interested I am in these. So I already spoke about how I started reading Ripe from Sarah Rose Etter. I haven't read any more from this book. I'm still only page 20 something. Page 27, so not far into it at all. It is a really weird book. So far we're just following this one girl called Cassie, and she has a job, and we've just followed her in her morning routine, and she has this dark shadow that follows her, and this I don't know if this is going to be a metaphor for depression. It seems to be, but is it going to turn into something even more sinister? And use that as a metaphor for something. I don't know where the story is going to go, but I imagine it's going to go somewhere quite weird. And then I've got 12 Nights at Rotherhouse by J.W. Ogre, which I did enjoy what I read, but I'm only on page 25, chapter 4. So the chapters are pretty small. Writing is really huge. Oh, what I will say about this Echo, this version of this book, the writing is so tiny. It's actually really hard for me to read at night. So I've been reading this mostly in the daytime. That's why I'm taking so long to read it, because I haven't been reading so much in the daytime anymore. But it's Sunday today, so I figured I'd do a Sunday to Sunday vlog, see how much I can get through for this week. I do plan on finishing this just because I'm into it, and I just kind of want to just keep going. But yeah, I might go into these two at some point. This is about a travel writer. He's in a haunted house, so again, more weird, spooky stuff. And then I did start reading Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This one I'm only on page 16, so here's my doggy. I've only read, I think, the prologue, which the prologue is basically text messages between Fox and Hannah. Those are the two main characters. So I've got the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I think if I want another romance, I might just dip into this straight away, or I might save this for November. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this might be a fun read. It's about Jeannie, When Jeannie's aunt gifts her beloved pumpkin spice cafe in a small town in Dream Harbor, Jeannie jumps at the chance for a fresh start. And then Logan is a local farmer, and he avoids the Dream Harbor's gossip at all costs and whatnot. And it's just like one of these spicy romances. And then I've got Court of the Vampire Queen. So I might want to read this one if I'm in the mood for it. Then I also have Leech, which I think kind of goes into that spooky vibes. This is by Hiron Ennis, and it's about like a parasite that's found in, I think it is a medical person or like a physician. They're hosting a parasite and maybe they're like possessed or something weird's going on. It's not too big and I think it'll be interesting, and also the writing is not tiny, because I honestly I'm straining my eyes reading this. I think that's another reason why it's taking me so long to get into it. I've also got The Nesting, which is the CJ Cook book, and this is based in Norway, and I think this will be fun to read. The problem I'm having, and it's not a problem, but like the weather here is so hot and warm, and this is like really cold. Or I might want to pick up The Nature of Witches, which is from Rachel Griffin. This one's just been sitting around. I've been looking at it for a whole week and I'm like, ooh, I really want to start reading that. So anything about witches, and it's all about the seasons and stuff, and there might be a romance in here, I'm not entirely sure. But I kind of want to go into that one as well. And then last but not least is The Whistling, which again is another kind of spooky one. Again, huge font. Like the font is enormous in this one. So this one might be a really fast read. This is from Rebecca Netley, and it's about a nanny who comes to nanny this boy in a Scottish island, and something weird goes on. There's like a twin or something. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. But these are like all the books that I kind of might dip my hands in this week, or I might just spend the whole week reading this. I'm not sure. I think we'll just play it by ear and see how it goes. Hey everyone, so it's the next day. I'm just doing my makeup. It's like past 2 in the afternoon, and it's Monday. I haven't been wearing any makeup. I've just been working quite a bit this morning, and I just thought, oh, let me just pop some makeup on, make myself look a little bit more alive, shall we? And let's talk about what I've been reading. So I told you that I really wanted to finish Echo, which I read quite a lot yesterday. I'm on page 281 now, and it's getting really good. I am so glad that I stuck it out and I didn't DNF this book, because I really was thinking I was going to DNF this book. I think the problem that most people have with this book is that it is quite confusing. The way that it's written, you're like, what is going on? Especially in the first half of the book. And then I'm slowly like figuring out where the story's going, what we're doing with the story. And honestly, there's some really interesting parts to this where I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that to go there. So basically Nick and Sam, they are a gay couple, like they are in love, and there's like this weird thing that happens where Nick is the one who is basically possessed, right, from this evil mountain or something. It sounds silly when I talk about it, but he is basically the one that has the accident, and there's something wrong with him. And you know, I guess I don't know if this is really so much of a spoiler, but there is a lot in this book where it's about their relationship, and Sam can't control himself, and he's like has this weird obsession with the darkness of Nick, and it's so fascinating like that was incorporated in the story. I thought that was really interesting. So I don't know, I feel like this book has a lot of layers to it, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I read quite a bit yesterday. It was Sunday yesterday, so I read quite a bit, and I read a little bit last night. It's hard for me to read this at night though, because it really does put me to sleep because the writing is so tiny. And then today, I actually I read a little bit today. I was looking at Audible books last night, and I was thinking of what I want to listen to. And in my library, I still have Love, Pamela, which is the Pamela Anderson book that she wrote herself, like a memoir. And I decided to start listening to that. I started listening to it a little bit last night, but I've mostly listened to it this morning. I think about halfway done, to be honest, because it's kind of a small book. And I'm really enjoying it. I am. I knew that I like her. I like her as a person. She is not who the media has always portrayed her to be, and I really like that. I really like a lot of the things that she stands for. Now, has she been misled? Yes. Has she done the wrong things in her life? Yes. But she loves animals. She is a hopeless romantic. She's a really good mom to her sons. And, you know, she is not going to pretend to be someone she's not anymore. Like, she even goes around, doesn't even wear makeup. Like, she's been in the Paris Fashion Week and she made a statement by literally wearing no makeup whatsoever, but obviously looking amazing. And why should she? Like, why do we have to wear makeup as I put my makeup on? Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I did pause it. I think I'm at the point where she's already done she's been doing Playboy and all that stuff, and she's just talking about that. I think the parts about her early childhood were very interesting, and she kind of starts the book off that way. And I did watch her documentary on Netflix, so I kind of knew a little bit about her. Basically had this alter ego, and I feel like it's very similar to Marilyn Monroe, where Marilyn Monroe had like her alter ego. She had the face that everybody saw, and she was heavily, you know, manipulated and taken advantage of by the media, by the men and everything in her life. And, you know, honestly, I feel like Pamela Anderson's the same thing. Did she also take advantage of those opportunities? Absolutely, but why shouldn't she? You know, I just feel like if everybody's giving her these opportunities, why the hell not? Why wouldn't you? So anyway, I've been listening to that, and I honestly thought, oh shoot, this is the wrong brush. I did suspect that I would like it, and the fact that I am liking it is a good thing. So that's what I've been doing today. That I want to go into one of the romances. I'm in a romance mood, and I think what's helping me with this book is there actually is a romance in here. You know, and I'm curious to see if it's going to be a happy ending or not. And honestly, what's so cool about this book is there was a part in the beginning that was the prologue, right? And the prologue was so good and so scary. And the whole book, I'm thinking, why did they have that in the book? And then we're finally like getting to the point, I think, in the story where it actually happens. And so it's all like coming full circle, and I'm like kind of realizing what the story is doing and where it's going. I am feeling better today. Definitely slowly every day I'm feeling a little bit better. We didn't get COVID, or at least we don't have COVID now, but oh my goodness. I mean, I might have had COVID a couple weeks ago, I'm not entirely sure, but my partner actually has pneumonia. So that's been really scary, and we had like a hospital visit and whatnot. I mean, it's been a crazy ride this last week. That just happened less than a week ago, and so he's still like recovering and stuff, and I'm trying to hold down the fort, trying to keep work going, you know, being there for him, my son, and, you know, I'm not able to get any help from my partner right now in terms of like house chores or taking care of our son, because he just can't, he's just too sick right now. So it's been really scary, actually. So it's nice to be able to dive into some of these books and honestly just kind of zone out all my worries, all my stress. But anyway, I will see you in a little bit. thought I'd give you a quick update. It is the next day and I have read quite a bit of Echo now, but I ended up not reading any last night, so I'm still on page 337. So really just like the final stretch. I think I'm going to read it later today because I felt like going into something completely different yesterday. So I went into the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and I got to page 64, which is chapter 7. So far, this is just going to be like a sweet rom-com, I think. It's like there's nothing really else going on. I did hear that I think it's a little spicy, but I'm not entirely sure. So far, it's super cute. So we've got Logan, who is the local farmer, and he is, I would say, the local hero. Like everybody in the small town loves him. We're at Dream Harbor, and what's her name? Jeannie has been left with a cafe by her aunt. Her aunt decided to retire and she's given her her cafe, and she's basically just buggered off and left her cafe and she has no idea what she's doing. She used to be an assistant in sort of a corporate office in Boston, and now she's in this small town and she's loving it so far. She's really enjoying it. She's just reopened the cafe after it being down for like a week. And she's already like got the hots for Logan and he's already got the hots for her. And actually it seems to be alternating POVs every other chapter. I'm in Logan's mind, and you know, the chapters are super short. I read this, I mean, I got to page 64 super fast. The writing in this book is really huge. So I think what happened was I got to a point and I was like, okay, fine. I kind of see where this book, what type of book this is, where it's going, and I left it at that, and I'll pick it back up. What I did do though is listen to more of Love, Pamela last night, and I think I only have, I've also listened to a little bit this morning. I only have 40 minutes left. I am getting a little bored. I think what's happened in this book is she went through like her like more infamous time of her life quite fast in the book, and I would say that's like by about half of the book. And then when you get to the second half of the book, it definitely slows down and it's more about her feelings on life, about her 2 sons and her like home life and stuff. And as lovely as that is, that she's found this lovely balance for like the second half of her life and so on after the fame and whatnot. And that was obviously good for her soul and her spirit and her peace of mind, like mental health, I'm sure. And she's devoted her time to being a good mother and so on. But when you put it in a book, it's not that interesting. So after a while, I'm getting a little, you know, I got a little bit bored, and I've got 40 minutes left, and I was like, oh, I really want to listen to this because she keeps going on about her sons and how well they're doing in life and things. And it's like, that's great. Like, she is a proud mom. I'm a proud mom. You know, my son's only 3.5, but you know, I can imagine I will be like that too. But there sometimes you can go a little bit overboard when you're talking about your own family. I was gonna give this a 5-star, to be honest, but I think I might end up giving it a 3.5, just because it's quite a big chunk of the book that I'm finding a little bit like sluggish. One thing I want to do is I just received this box and I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's either books or I ordered some hair stuff the other day. Yeah, okay, so this is my stuff from Amazon for my hair, but for some reason it's been shipped so differently. Obviously it wasn't in, I thought this was actually being shipped from the Amazon warehouse, but it's obviously been shipped by the seller, or I don't know who it's been shipped by, but definitely not Amazon. So I got the Grow Gorgeous Hair Density Serum. This is for fine thinning hair because I recently cut my hair because I had hair extensions and it totally ruined my hair. So this is what this is like. So I'm going to see how this goes. The only other hair serum that I've used is from The Ordinary, which worked okay. But yeah, this one looked pretty good. So I might have fun with that one. So I got that. There's definitely something that's leaked in this box, but I also picked up 2 of these. These are the Thick and Full Biotin and Collagen shampoos from OGX. I think that's OGX. I'm not entirely sure. but I definitely need biotin and collagen, and I just was like looking at like what to grab, and these popped up on Amazon, and I just got 2 of them because they were a pretty good price. I got vitamin B7, biotin, collagen, hydrolyzed wheat protein, and helps to infuse nutrients in every strand and creates the appearance of volume for thicker, fuller, healthier looking hair. So yeah, I'm on like a hair mission at the moment. Another thing that I got is this hair scalp massager. So these are these little brushes that you use to basically massage your scalp, and everything is so sticky. I think it's that shampoo. It must have leaked because everything feels really sticky. But it's basically this thing, and I'm just gonna massage my hair. I might read more a pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin spice cafe, or I might go back into one of the other books that I tried reading, which is 13 Nights or 12 Nights at Rudder House. Which for some reason I've read like 25 pages and I haven't gone back to it, and I don't know why. I think I really just want to finish this. I've been trying to read this since August, or right at the beginning of September. It just feels like a really long time that I've had this book out, and I have been enjoying it. I have. I don't know, I just did not want to finish it last night. So I definitely will try to aim to finish this. And I think once I'm done with that, I will feel a little bit of relief, because I haven't read one single book now in October, and it's the 10th of October today. So I feel a little behind, which is silly. Hey guys, so it is the next day and I finished Echo last night, and I think I'm going to give this 4 stars. I think that at the end of the day, I did enjoy it, but I got very confused at the end. I honestly thought, I don't know, I thought the ending ended in a way that I wasn't expecting, and I honestly got confused. I was like, what is going on? I was really confused. The language got very ambiguous, and everything that happened got very confusing. Like, I found it hard to follow what was going on, but I liked how the beginning of the book ties into like the end of the book. I don't know why I was stupid and didn't realize that was going to happen, but I do know that when I first started this book, like a full month and a half ago, I read that first chapter and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It was like literally the best chapter in the book. And then the rest of the book, you're like, wait, hold on a second, wait, what's going on? And then it finally all ties together. And I don't know why I wasn't thinking it would. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 star. I did enjoy it. I tabbed a little. There are parts in the book that I thought were really, really creepy that I tabbed, and then other parts where I thought some of the characters said some interesting things, but I didn't really tab too much. Anyway, I read a little bit of Pumpkin Spice Latte as well. I am on page 102, and you know, this is a really cute book. Is it groundbreaking the way it's written? No. Are the characters super original? No. Is the story super original? No. But it's like a really cozy read. I do find the main girl a little bit stupid, like a little bit too ditzy. Having said that, I'm flying through it. I know I'm only on 102, but honestly, I didn't read that much last night and I got to page 102. It's just not a hard book to read. I think the problem is I'm not finding that much intrigue at the moment with this book. I think it's cute. I pick it up if I want to feel cozy, that's fine. But there's nothing significant about the way it's written, about the characters so far. There's nothing that's unique. I have not gone back to my other books that I was reading because I think today I want to start The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. It's just like sitting there, and I've been looking at it for a couple weeks now, and I just want to start reading this, especially because it goes through all the seasons and it starts with summer. We're going to get into fall and then winter and spring, I guess. Or maybe not. I don't even know if we go through all the seasons. But it's witchy, or it will be witchy. And I read like the first line in it and I was like, yeah, okay, I want to read that. So it starts off with, everything is burning so many flames, it looks as if we set the sky on fire. The sun has long since vanished, hidden behind a haze of smoke and ash, and its magic still rushes through me. I don't know, I kind of wanted to read something like that. So I'll probably start reading this tonight, see how I get on. And it's got like 350 or so pages. So it's not a huge book. It's a nice floppy book as well. Just going back to Echo, something that I was thinking last night, and I didn't say it just now, but I do want to actually say, I read the acknowledgement from Thomas Oldhuber, which is the author, and it really gave me a better perspective of why he wrote this book. So Hex is the book that like blew him into the like everybody's radar, and I actually have Hex. I haven't read it yet. And then he had basically a terrible writer's block, and then he ended up writing Echo. Now I haven't read Hex, so I don't know, but all of the reviews on Echo say it's nothing like Hex, it's not as good, blah blah blah. Now, reading his acknowledgements, it seems to me, just like reading between the lines of what he said, that this is much more personal. Like, this was him trying to find his voice again. And he is a mountaineer. He likes to climb mountains. So this is like his world. Because I think a lot of criticism about this book was a lot of people didn't care about the mountaineer lingo. Like, there is a lot about how to climb a mountain. Not like literally how to climb, but like a lot of descriptive parts about how he got to the summit and what that means, and then trying to do the harness. And, you know, like, I did get lost a little bit, but that wasn't my criticism on it. Honestly, I think just the ending was a little too fluffy to me. It wasn't, I couldn't envision really what happened. It was hard to visualize. However, anyway, back to what I was saying. I appreciate that this is a much more personal book, just from what he said in his acknowledgements, and it made me look at the book a little bit differently and appreciate it a little bit more, because honestly, I know writers, they write books and a lot of them are personal to them and we still don't like them, or we do like them, you know, everybody has a preference. And I kind of liked that this was a more personal book for him. It does make me really want to read Hex, which I actually do have, but it's got me excited to read Hex. Everybody says it's so good, and that was a smash hit. And it'd be interesting to see how it compares to this, if it really is that different. I think the way this was written was hard. Like, and also he talks about how it was translated, because obviously this is translated material. He is not a native English speaker, and so the book is not written in English. So the way it translates could hold completely different meanings to some people. So there's always that you have to bear in mind. Having said all that, I'm still giving it a 4-star because I do think the ending, it just didn't hit the mark for me. I was really enjoying the build-up. It's a really slow build-up. I do like it, but yeah, I couldn't possibly give it more than 4 stars. Hey guys, so it is later in the day. I'm actually cooking dinner, or I'm about to cook dinner. We're gonna have chicken, and I really feel like parsnips and potatoes. I'm gonna do some roast parsnips and potatoes. I'm also cooking the chicken in the oven, but it's just chicken breast, but yeah. Anyway, excuse the mess that I am, but I've been reading more of this, or I read more of it since you last saw me, and I'm on page 160. romance, and honestly, I'm enjoying it. This is a lot spicier than I was expecting. There was a moment I was like, oh, what? And oh, there was two moments. The moment with the massage oil, if you read the book, you know, I'm like, what? And then not long after that, there's another moment. I'm like, what? I did not expect it from this book. This is quite spicy. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, Fox is the man, and he is quite foxy, and they're gonna get together, obviously. It's just one of those books. But she's like making him like wait for it, which I appreciate. I like that she said no, because he basically threw himself at her, and she's like, no, because she can see right through him that he uses sex as a way to protect his like true vulnerability and stuff. And she sees right through him. So good on her. And yeah, I'm enjoying the book. I'm about not halfway yet. Halfway would be about closer to 200, but I'm close to halfway and I am enjoying it. I'll probably finish it. I want to say I'll probably finish it tomorrow. I don't think I'll read all of it tonight, although I might just sit down and read all of it tonight. I'm not sure. I read the the Spice Cafe. What was it called? I can't remember. But anyway, I read that one and I gave it 1 star. Oh my gosh, so bad. That one compared to this one is so much nicer to read, and it actually has some substance to it. It's written better. The characters have a little bit more to them. I felt like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe was so bad because the characters were so empty. Like they were like hollow shells of people that they should be. And yeah, I just thought it was so atrocious. So it was so bad. This one, at least you kind of know what's going on, and they have a little bit more to them. But also, I mean, still, it's just an easy book to read, and it's getting to me. This one is much better. And yeah, because when I got into this, I was like, well, when I was reading this, I was thinking, gosh, maybe I just don't like these types of romances anymore. Maybe I'm just a romantic girl, you know, at heart. But no, this is proven that I do like these types of books. They just have to be written a little bit better. Not that this is amazing. I don't think I'm going to give this like a 5 star. I doubt I'll give it a 4 star, but it's still not going to be a 1 star unless it just goes downhill from here. I don't think it will be as bad as the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I think it's probably going to end up being a 3.5, which is what I typically rate these types of romance books. But you never know, it might surprise me. I mean, Book Lovers, I gave a 5 star because that did surprise me because it had a lot more substance to it. It had like some sadness to it that really like touched my heart, and I actually really liked that. But anyway, enough about that. I just thought I'd give an update. Hey guys, so I am going to be closing out this vlog. I was hoping to just get it within a week, but honestly, it has been a week since you've seen me. It is actually Tuesday the following week. And I think the last time you saw me was Wednesday, or maybe I inserted a clip. I know I filmed a clip at night, so I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to close out this vlog because it's kind of silly. I do think it's been a good one though, because I have been able to like finish some books, more books than I was planning on to actually. And you know, I'm still behind on how many books I wanted to read for October, but I do have updates on these books that I've been reading. Ultimately, if you've got this far in the video, thank you so much, because it has been a really tough week. I think just like dealing with my partner going to hospital, getting pneumonia, me still having to work, me getting over my illness and my cold, and you know, dealing with my son on my own for almost a whole week. It was just like, it was really difficult. And then at the same time, I thought, oh, I'm gonna start vlogging, like as a stupid lady would, of course. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking like this long. If you did make it this far, let's talk about some of these books, because I do have some thoughts on them. The last time you saw me, I had just finished Echo, and I still really like it. I still gave it 4 stars. So this one, great. wonderful. And I started the vlog reading this anyway, and I wanted to finish it within this vlog, and I did. Something that I never updated you about was Love, Pamela. So I have still not finished the last 40 minutes of that book, but I will. I think ultimately it's just a little bit dull and I haven't found a moment to listen to it, but I might listen to it later tonight. But that one, I'm gonna listen to it eventually and then call it a day. But yeah, I think I'm going to probably give it 3 stars, or 3.5, depending on, it doesn't really matter. It's within that. I don't feel like I should give it any less because I did thoroughly enjoy majority of the book. I just think that ultimately it wasn't interesting enough towards the end. So I'm just going to leave it at that. The problem that I have with this book is it is very dull. What you get in the first part of the book carries forth the rest of the novel, and it's insta love. There's no conflict between the two characters. They literally just fall head over heels in love with them, and really the only kind of conflict that they have to get over is that what's his name? Logan, the farmer, he had his heart broken previously, so the whole town is protective over his heart and they don't want him to get heartbroken again, and he doesn't want to get heartbroken again, and he thinks Jeannie is there to, you know, she's from the city, so he thinks that she's going to leave and not stay there, so he doesn't want to fall madly in love with her and then get his heart broken. Blah, 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 blah. I gave it a 2-star on Goodreads, but after reflecting for a day, I changed it to 1 star. I'm sorry, but I just did not, it didn't give me what I wanted, and I think ultimately the writing was atrocious, and I feel like this was a cash grab. I feel like Laurie Gilmore just wanted to release a book that everybody would buy for fall autumn time, because obviously it's called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Moving on, another book that I finished is Hook, Line, and Sinker. I finished this a couple of days ago. I didn't really vlog it, although you might have seen a clip of me talking about it. But yeah, there's a little bit of spice in this book. It's good. So yeah, when I first started this vlog, I think I'd only read like a tiny bit of it. I did pick it up after I finished Pumpkin Spice Cafe because this did not fulfill my need for a nice, cute romance. I was like, maybe this will have it. And you know, I didn't really want to go into like some darker, deeper themes. So, you know, I'd already started reading this. I picked it back up. It was a really easy read to get back into, and I did actually enjoy it more than Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I thought it was done better overall. There was more interesting characters. I think the one thing that did put me off was the intimate scenes. I don't know what it is that I like, because I found this book very cute and wholesome. However, when you got to the intimate parts, it like shifted completely, and I'm like, ew, these are like different characters. I think there was definitely a divide, and you know, sometimes that can happen with people. Sometimes, you know, you don't know what someone's like behind closed doors, blah blah blah. But I think it was a little bit too much of a contrast for me, where I felt like they were so sweet to each other and they were really good friends. I mean, it was more like a friendship to lover type of romance. I don't know, I found the contrast a little bit off-putting at times in certain scenes. So I ended up giving it a 3.5. I think that's kind of where I'm happy with it. I didn't expect to like do like full reviews on these books, but I feel like I haven't spoken to you in a while. I mean, you've just seen me, but I feel like I haven't spoken to you in a while. So I want to just give like a little rundown of what I've been reading, because I haven't been able to tell anyone. I've also been reading these 2 books. I have not finished them, but I did start The Nature of Witches, which you would have seen that I said I wanted to start, and I did tab a tiny bit of it. I'm only on page 42, chapter 5. Chapters are pretty small in this book. So this is interesting, this one. This is definitely a YA novel. I'm not a huge fan of it, which I know a lot of people say that, but you know, I loved YA when I was of that age. You know, I am in my 30s, and reading this book, you know, I'm like trying to get into the mind of like a young teenager, and I'm just like, you know, but I think ultimately this actually has a kind of an interesting take on witches and the way the world is. And so ultimately this follows Clara. She's an Everwitch, and that means like an Everwitch means that she's very unique. There's only one or two every like few centuries or whatever, so she's super unique and rare, and she needs to hone in her craft, and she's at like this training school for witches or something like that, and she is able to take on the powers of other witches. And the way the witches work in this world is you're either an autumn witch, a summer witch, a spring witch, or a winter witch. Did I do them all? I think so. Or autumn, whatever. Whichever one I missed, I don't know. The 4 different seasons, that's what you are as a witch. And so we start the book off, it's summer, and then we have the equinox. So, you know, we go straight into autumn, and because she's an Everwitch, if she has some sort of relations with somebody or like romantic feelings with someone while she's in the summer season and she goes into autumn, then she loses all of those feelings. Like, she doesn't lose the memory or anything, but she definitely shifts into some like a different type of witch. Like, her powers are different, and also her feelings vanish from season to season. So obviously that's going to make her having a relationship super difficult, right? So you kind of in the novel, like straight away, I mean, in the first 42 pages, you learn a lot. So I tabbed quite a bit. So you're learning about the world, and basically the witches of this world are trying to keep the climate at bay, and all the like the normal people, which is us the non-witchy people, have basically ruined the planet. So it's like, it is basically about, you know, climate and all that, and trying to save the world and keeping the planet at bay because the weather is going crazy, and they're trying to hone their craft to make sure that it doesn't get out of control. So there's quite a bit of that already in the book, which I think is really interesting and cool, and it's a really cool take on it as well. So I enjoyed it, but yeah, I picked it up, I read all that, and then I haven't picked it back up in the last few days. But I definitely, something that I'm going to be reading in the next few days. I have been wanting to go back into it. There's a book here that I really want to finish before, because it's kind of like annoying me. So I'm also reading Ripe. This is by Sarah Rose Etter, and it's funny, I was editing this vlog and I said this is going to be a weird book, and it is a weird book. Like, I don't get it. I'm on page 107, and not much has happened. Like, it's not a book with a big plot. You're kind of learning about the character, which is Cassie, and you're following her at work. I think I said this already. It's a very small book. Every other chapter is a word, and then the dictionary explanation of that word, and then what her explanation of that word is. So I'll give you an example. I think the last one was friendship, right? We have friendship right here. And then you have like a noun, you have the emotion, you know, everything that you pull from a dictionary. And then you have down here all of her personal, like, examples of what friendship has meant to her and her life. And so this part of the book, like whenever there's a chapter like this, you're kind of learning about what she feels of the world, what she feels of her family, some of her her past as a child. You are like going into her psyche there. So that's kind of interesting. And then you have, you know, it swaps, and you have like a normal chapter where you're just following her at work, and, you know, certain things happen, or she's at a dinner party or something like that. I mean, right now here it says the dinner party I dread is at Nicole, so she's going to go to a dinner party in my next chapter that I haven't read yet. So that's kind of how it's laid out. There is this underlining current of unpleasantness and eeriness and, you know, tension. You know something bad is going to happen. There's quite a bit of atmosphere in this book, and even though it's so small, and honestly there's not that much on each page. Some pages are really short, like the friendship page you saw, like there's just, you know, there's not that much in this book that you have to read, but what you read is a little bit obscure and also unsettling. I would say I'm very unsettled reading this book. I will give, like, there are parts of it where I think some of her descriptions are off-putting. So right, like, I think this is the first chapter and I tapped this. She was talking about being in San Francisco, right? Because that's where she's working and living. And she says, to survive here, I have to split myself in two, my true self and my fake self. My fake self rises up to take over whenever the demands are too great. Maybe there must always be two of us, our real selves and the ones we create to survive the world as it is. So again, she's like, you know, so she's already, you know, kind of telling you she has one side and then another side. There's a part here where she's talking about a dream that she had. So a dream from a few nights ago suddenly returns to me. My heart was pulled from my throat, my body heaving until it emerged through my stretched lips. Then my heart was suspended in the air before me, wet and pulsing, attached to red veins that ran like umbilical cords from my mouth. It's quite visual, it's quite descriptive. And you know what? Like, most of these days, I've been wanting to have a nice cozy read, which is why I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I read Hook, Line, and Sinker. I am reading The Nature of Witches because I feel like it's more cozy. Echo, I knew was a horror and I wanted to get through it, but honestly, Echo wasn't really that scary. Echo was just interesting. 12 Nights at Rotter House, which I have yet to talk about, I don't really know. But this is the only one where I feel super unsettled. So I'm struggling to read it. And it's not that I don't like it, I just find it hard to read. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this one. I think I want to finish this one. I have about 100 pages left. 120 pages left. I'm going to try to read this tonight. And then I do want to read this. I do. I feel like this would be a book that I enjoy. And if not, I just want to read it. I've started it. I want to finish it. But I have yet to read any pages since I started this blog. So I'm still on page like 25. And yeah. So that's where I'm at. And then I also grabbed A Court of Vampires. Yeah, Court of the Vampire Queen. Court of Vampires by Katie Robert. And I haven't read this yet. I haven't even tried reading it, but I grabbed it and I put it next to my bed last night because I thought I was going to read it, but then I got like stuck on YouTube and I didn't end up reading any of it. But I imagine these four are going to be next on my to read list. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, I ended up finishing 3.5 books, because I'll kind of count Love, Pamela, because I will finish the last 40 minutes just to finish it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I think I spoke a lot just now and I need to cut down this vlog quite a bit. Thank you so much for watching the video if you got this far, and I will most likely pick up the vlog starting tomorrow because I do want to like start getting it more into this stuff. Because I do think it's cool to just, you know, vlog what I'm reading, and then at the end of the month I can do my wrap-ups, and yeah, you can like follow along if you like it, or if you just like the wrap-ups, that's absolutely fine as well. So hope everyone's doing well. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, I would really love it, and I will see you all next time. Bye.